Well, once again, Naughty Dog is in the news, and once again, probably not for the reasons they would want to be. Hello, this is Mara Jade, and I'm here with another video, and I was tipped off to this article from Bounding into Comics by another YouTuber, Lethal Lightning, entitled, Naughty Dog level designer confirms studio is, quote, adamantly progressive, as fans speculate Anita Sarkeesian influenced The Last of Us 2 development. Now, as to the second part of the headline, it's purely speculation at this point because no one from either Sony or Naughty Dog has come forward to either confirm or deny it. But as to the first part of the headline, me personally, I don't care about the political leanings of any given studio in the entertainment industry, whether it be movie, comic book, or in this case video games, as long as it does not affect the end product. But unfortunately, with the advent of identity politics, we are seeing more and more of those influences creeping into the storylines and gameplay of video games, in this case specifically because the article is about Naughty Dog. Now, again, as long as it does not affect the end product, but like I said, it's creeping more and more into it, and then these developers wonder why people are getting ticked off and criticizing them. We don't want politics of any kind in our escapism, and they cannot seem to grasp that. But I'm not going purely into that. I'm going to cover this article and give my 2 cents on the situation Naughty Dog is now facing themselves in again. So let's dive into this article, shall we? Amidst the backlash towards plot and design elements seen in leaked footage of The Last of Us 2, and fan speculation that feminist critic Anita Sarkeesian, I cannot stand that woman with a passion right now, influenced the game's development, a member of Naughty Dog's development team has confirmed that the studio promotes, quote, progressive political views. Like I said, I don't care about the political views of the studio as long as it does not affect the end product, but we're seeing it, unfortunately, that it does in this case with The Last of Us Part 2 being released in June 19th of this year, June 19th, 2020. Following the leaks which showed Dina's in-game model featuring a shrunken chest compared to her real model, the masculine featured Abby's role in Joel's death and her delivery of a brutal graphic beating to Dina and Ellie, and the use of generic homophobic Christian cultists as core antagonists among other coldly received narrative changes, fans began to sift through publicly available media from magazine interviews to massive tweet histories in search of a supposed, quote, answer as to why the survival horror series has seen such an extreme push towards pushing ham-fisted messages based heavily on political ideology. Well, 2 answers to that are Neil Cuckman and his the influence of Anita Sarkeesian. Those are a couple answers right there. Okay. In their exploration of various archives, fans rediscovered words of praise offered by Naughty Dog Vice President Neil Druckmann towards Sarkeesian's bad faith feminist-based video game critiques, which other YouTubers have made videos about not too long ago. During his keynote speech at the 2013 International Game Developers Association conference, Druckmann stated that he did not, quote, he did not like what he saw in regards to female representation. Please stop saying female representation. All we care about is good characters. It does not matter their skin color, gender, or sexual orientation. We don't care. Stop saying female representation. Because I know for a fact people like you, Neil Cuckman, would have an aneurysm if anyone said male representation. Stop using women as political props to push whatever agenda you have. Women, like myself, don't care. I'm a gamer. I'm not a female gamer. I'm a gamer. All I care about is whether or not the characters are good, the story is good, and the gameplay is good. Once I create the character, if it's one of those games where you can create your own, that gets pushed to the side once I start focusing on the gameplay and the storyline. Because at that point, my concern is not getting wrecked in the video game. So the looks of the character, whether it's a male or a female, don't matter to me. I created the character, but that's neither here nor there once the gameplay starts. And you cannot seem to grasp that. The fact that you act like this tells me that you are not a gamer. You call yourself a gamer most likely, but you're not one because most gamers do not care about this. They have not, do not, and will not care about this in the future. Why? Citing characters such as Metal Gear Solid 5's Quiet, Halo's Cortana, and Dead or Alive's Ayame. I'm hoping I'm pronouncing that correctly. He argued that developers and players solely, quote, sexualize, we objectify, and we reduce these female characters to less than they can be. So I'm a woman, I play games like Soul Calibur, my go-to character is Ivy. Anyone who's played those Soul Calibur games knows what Ivy looks like. Third, fourth wave feminists would have an aneurysm if they saw her appearance. But guess what? I don't care, and you're ignoring people like me, women like me, who are coming forward and saying, I've played games for years. I've grown up playing games. I don't care. Well, you don't exist. Well, you just have internalized misogyny, or you don't exist. Meanwhile, here I am. In his next slide, Druckmann directly cites Sarkeesian's Tropes vs. Women series and adamantly states that you can't argue with the pattern of misogyny that you see in the industry, before noting that he also, quote, watched the rest of Anita's videos and realized that it's not just a problem in games, it's actually throughout entertainment. Well, I find it funny that you stated that, Neil Cuckman, because, from what I've read, you were one of the influences behind Amy Hennig, the woman behind the first 3 Uncharted games, getting pushed out of Naughty Dog, pushed out from her controlling position in that industry, because you did not like her. So you have the cojones, fake cojones nonetheless, but cojones, to talk about misogyny. Neil Cuckman, I say this with love from the deepest part of my heart. Fuck you. Okay. Speaking with Rolling Stone in 2016, Druckmann confirmed that he had been, quote, influenced by Anita Sarkeesian's feminist frequency during the development of Uncharted 4. Okay, Anita Sarkeesian, any gaming developers who are still going to her for advice, what the fuck is wrong with you? This woman is not a gamer. She does not care about the gaming industry. All she cares about is pushing her agenda and narrative. That's all she cares about. Nothing else matters to this woman, but yet you still go to her for advice. And then you wonder why your sales are so piss poor. Stop going to this woman. For the love of God, I want her to go away. During the development of Uncharted 4, resulting in, it says Nate beating up Nate, but I think that's Nadine beating up Nate, and, quote, the end when it was Nate's daughter. So here it is. Rolling Stone, you said in the past that you've been influenced by Anita Sarkeesian's feminist frequency videos and the larger conversation about diversity and representation in games. Again, another phrase I fucking hate at this point, diversity and representation, because diversity and representation transcends skin color, gender, and sexual orientation, but these people seem to solely focus on skin color, gender, and sexual orientation under the guise of diversity and representation. So doing so makes them the biggest racist and sexist there is. Cuckman, when I'm introducing and describing a new character to our lead character concept artist, constantly she will ask, what if it was a girl? And I'm like, oh, I didn't think about that. Let me think. Does that affect or change anything? No, cool, that's different. Yeah, let's do it. Normally, it does not affect anything because, again, people do not care about the gender of the character. They do not care about the skin color of the character. They do not care about the sexual orientation of the character, so long as the character itself is good. But here's the reason why it matters, Neil Cuckman. Initially, in the epilogue, it was Nate's son. That's why it matters, you fucking dumbass. It matters because of continuity. So if in the previous game, in the epilogue, Nate has a son, guess fucking what, dumbass? You have him have a son in the 4th game. How hard is that to grasp? For a normal person, it's not hard to grasp, but for someone like you, I guess it's monumentally beyond your capacity to register. Something similar happened with the mansion they go into. That was an old English guy's house. She asked, well, what if it was a woman? Again, fucking continuity. That's why it matters. If it's an old Englishman in the previous game, it's an old Englishman in the next game. If it's a son in the previous game, it's a son in the next game. Conti-fucking-nuity. You have some sexist focus testers who are really upset by Nadine beating up Nate. I would be upset by Nadine beating up Nate. Because what I'm hearing is that you have no control of it. You can't defend yourself. You have to take a fucking beating from a woman. What if it had been the reverse? Again, you people would have aneurysms, but it's okay for a woman to beat up on a man because women power, because feminism, because you are assholes. And really upset at the end when it was Nate's daughter. They're upset because it's a son in the previous game. But you call them sexist when they complain. To the point where we had to ask one guy to leave. In his core, it just affected him. In his core, it was because he most likely played the first 3 games, loved the first 3 games, expected continuity in the 4th game, and guess what? You decided to give him the middle finger and say, fuck you. And then call him a sexist. He was cursing, not you too, Naughty Dog. God damn it, I guess I'm done with Uncharted. If you guys ever make another one with his daughter, this fucking bullshit. And I was like, wow, why does that matter? Well, it matters, again, you cuck, because, again, continuity. Alright. As of writing, there has been no explicit confirmation of direct involvement on The Last of Us 2's development by Sarkeesian, and this theory currently remains speculation, because no one has come forward to confirm or deny it necessarily. When a Twitter user asked for clarification regarding Sarkeesian's involvement, Naughty Dog level designer Evan Hill stated that her influence went as far as Druckmann citing her videos like 5 years ago. Well, 5 years ago was 2015, 2 years after he sung her praises at that conference. However, Hill also confirmed that Naughty Dog is, quote, vocally and adamantly progressive, and deflected criticism towards the game's content as criticism of the studio's politics by claiming that these views were the reason that upset fans were targeting members of the game's design and narrative teams. Here it is. Is this conspiracy? I guess some of the developers said they liked her videos. And then Evan Hill chimes in. Neil did like 5 years ago. Our studio is vocally, adamantly progressive. Just glad they aren't targeting the women who are actually on the design and narrative team. Sounds like he wants the white knight so bad. When asked directly for confirmation on Sarkeesian's influence, Hill offered up a tired insult, classifying critics as chuds, who were obsessive, creepy, and weird. Well, Hill, I'm a critic. You want to call me a chud? Come on, call me it. Alright, that's the end of the article. And I looked up the thread on Twitter because I wanted to read it for myself. And here it is. Alright, here's start of the thread. And it shows 2 videos, one made by Yellow Flash, the other made by Jeremy from Geeks and Gamers, citing, the speculation that Anita Sarkeesian had direct involvement on The Last of Us Part 2. And here's his response. And look, that chud tweet is deleted. Deleted. Go figure. Go figure. Wonder why it's deleted. I wonder why it's deleted. I also found this tweet. My brain melted when they dragged her back out. She visited us once, like 4+ years ago. So, he's saying Anita Sarkeesian actually went to Naughty Dog Studio. But her magic powers were too strong for our weak designer brains. If you are saying that, Evan Hill, if you're saying that, someone needs to give you the pink slip, because that's not something you want to be saying when you are a representative of the business. You're calling yourselves weak designer brains. You shouldn't be calling yourselves anything. You should be promoting the game, just solely promoting the game. But her magic powers, you are such a cuck. And why? Why do these guys, the male feminists, always look the same? It's like they come off an assembly line. Have you noticed that? They all look like Ethan Van Sciver's drawing. It's like, I don't know, male feminism 101. They go take a course on it, and one of the first lessons they learn is to have the beard and the glasses as part of their picture. But at any rate, let me know what you think of the situation down in the comments below. Are you still planning on buying the game? Are you not planning on buying the game? Again, let me know. I'm not planning on buying the game. I was never interested in the game, and seeing how Naughty Dog and Sony have been acting towards critics of the game itself and the tactics resulting from the leaks and how they were trying to silence dissenting opinions, I'm not buying, at least in the future, not buying any Naughty Dog products. They'd have to do some pretty fancy tap dancing to get me to buy anything that they promote. But at any rate, again, let me know what you think down in the comments. Let me know what you think about Anita Sarkeesian and Neil Cuckman. Do you think she had direct involvement in the development for the story for Last of Us Part 2? I would not put it past them. I'm not saying it's true. I'm not saying it's false. I'm just saying that I would not be surprised. But at any rate, again, this is Mario Jade. I will be on Drunk 3PO's channel tomorrow if my internet holds out for a live stream Monday evening. Until then, look for my next video or live stream, and I'll catch you on the dark side. Later.